Our own Jack Doles is not the only high-profile journalist in Italy covering the Winter Games.
NBC nightly news anchor Tom Llamas is there as well, and Jack caught up with him to talk about moving from the anchor desk to the middle of the Olympic action.
All right, with NBC's Tom Llamas. And Tom, now you've got the chair.
Yeah.
How different is it covering the games from that chair than from previous chairs?
Yeah, I mean, look, you're busy just like you are if you're a correspondent or you're anchoring another broadcast, but I'd say maybe you're 100% busier. You know, every night, we know at 6:30 Eastern, our viewers are turning to us across the country to watch something, to be informed, but also to be inspired. And I think that's what the Olympics do. So I want to make sure we're telling the best stories here at the Olympics, that we're really capturing the human drama, because there is so much human drama here. And there are a lot of highs and there are some lows. And thankfully, we have a great partnership with NBC Sports. We capture every single moment of it. And in these Olympics, there's now drones covering every single moment of it. But what I love is that every single day we're surprised by something here, and it's a good kind of surprise.
Is there anything that's taken your breath away so far?
Yeah, you know, I think Max Naumov, his entire story, I've had a chance to spend time with him and interview him, and then to see him on the ice and pull off a perfect routine after the year that he's had. I think in every sense of the word, he is a champion. He's the kind of kid I'll be telling my kids about, because that's what you want in an athlete, somebody who can overcome those things and also be so graceful, still be thankful, to love that figure skating community. So I think that's been an incredible story. And look, Lindsey Vonn is watching the Olympics right now from a hospital bed, but that grit, that determination, not letting anyone tell her no, and attacking that mountain, even with the torn ACL. Look, it didn't end the way she wanted, but she's a legend already. You know, she's a champion already, and I think those stories are great.
How difficult is it for the NBC family right now with what's going on with Savannah and her family?
You know, it's tough, and it's a tough balance, right? Because you want to bring the story of the Olympics to all the viewers back home in the States, but our lead story every night is what's happened to Savannah's mother. It's horrific. Any type of crime like that, regardless if it happened to anyone from NBC, would be horrific. You know, an American woman was taken from her home, a grandmother, and we still don't know what's happened to her. So it's crushing in and of itself. Savannah's a close friend of ours. She should be here. She should be right here next to me. And she's not, because she's with her family in this terrible state. So we think about her, we pray about her multiple times a day. I know I am. And it's just something we're trying to balance, because I know there's a lot of Americans that want to know what's going to happen with that case.
You recently interviewed the president.
Yeah.
Today, J.D. Vance basically warned athletes not to pop off, was his wording.
Yeah.
Is this a dangerous time? And how do you balance that with what you've got to do as a journalist?
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's a dangerous time. I think obviously it's a time when everyone's watching what you're doing and putting it out there on social media, so I think it's a different time in that regard. I think there are other countries out there where there is truly real dangers, where athletes have to defect from their countries, or they have to be very careful because they're minded by members of the intelligence community. That's not the United States. You know, I didn't see the vice president's comments, so I can't talk about that. But I can say I think the athletes here have already spoken their minds. The history of America is that athletes do speak their minds, and they're not afraid to. And we know as Americans, that's what makes us great, right? We have the freedom of speech in our country, and that extends to athletes in whatever country they are.
Does it weigh on you that you're the first Latino to be in that chair? Yeah,
it's an honor. It's the honor of my life, right? My parents came to this country with no money, not knowing how to speak the language, and they worked really hard, and this country gave them a second chance. And so they love this country, and they taught me to love this country, and I do. America's an incredible place. You know, I hope that if anything, if one thing anyone takes away from this is what I took away from those that came before me, is that when I looked at the TV screen and I saw someone that had a last name similar to mine, somebody who was also Hispanic, it taught me that I could do that, right? And I think that's the story of America. You can do whatever you want here, regardless of where you start out. And so if anything, if there's any takeaway, there's a kid somewhere who maybe he didn't grow up speaking English, maybe his last name is not a typical American last name, but if he looks up at the screen, he knows that there's opportunity in this country, and if he works really hard, he or she can do whatever he wants.
And you can see more of Tom Llamas' coverage from the Winter Games on NBC Nightly News. That's tonight at 6:30 right here on Wood TV 8.